Hey, good afternoon. This is Derek from Roof It Forward, top of a three-tab home here in Marietta, where we've seen some hail, done a couple of houses in this area already. So we're going to start with condition of the roof and then move on to possible storm damage. So as you can see, this is a good indicator. You can look at the shingles, very deteriorated. They are also very loose, so there's nothing holding them down anymore. That tar underneath has pretty much worn away completely. You can see they just lift up. So indication they're old, brittle. Um, the granulars that are on the actual shingle itself protect the fiberglass matting, and once that those granulars are gone and the fiberglass is exposed, they kind of let water in, and they tend to be brittle like that. So just a general overview. Um, as far as storm damage goes, so what we saw on pretty much every roof that we've looked at in this area is put chalk on the little HVAC cap here, and you can see where it left the marks, little round marks for the dings. So when these thin metals get banged up, it's a pretty good indicator of hail. Don't typically see it on these termination flashing here because they're a lot harder, but sometimes they show up. But we'll start with this slope. So this would be probably more the north facing slope. Doesn't tend to get as much weather as the other side. But even then, it's still pretty easy. I just marked up some spots. You can see. So basically, this is a good one to show. So when hail impacts, it kind of knocks it in a little bit, blows off the granulars, and then it just lets it wear away. So over time, those get worse and worse. Um, you can see one there. And I marked up quite a few. Typically, insurance companies want a 10 by 10 square. You need 7, 8, 9, 10 in that square. Pretty easy to find on this roof. So this might be a little bit of wind damage here. You see that dark crease that goes across. It's still a little bit pliable, but basically what happens is the wind catches it, lifts it up, and it creates that crease. So call that basically wind damage. Surprisingly, I think the trees have kind of protected you from a lot of the wind that comes through. All right, let me step over here. So this is the other side with the chimney. So looking at some condition items here, we do have some rusted flashing there, shingles torn. Chimney cap itself looks really good, probably pretty new. Um, you can still see some of the age and wear and tear. That kind of stuff would just be general wear and tear. So on this side, I did mark up a 10 by 10 square. You can see the outline, and then pretty easy to find dents like that. So when you can see, it kind of bruises the matting a little bit and leaves a nice little imprint. So obviously, it only took me a couple of minutes to find enough there. So a couple things we do have. Let me find them. So you do have this going on. So this is a shingle that was loose. I just looked at it because it was torn here, but underneath the nail is rusted. So obviously, there's nothing sealing this down anymore. Water's getting up under there, getting to the nail, and so that water then can travel down to the decking and start to kind of another one there with a rusted nail head. So nothing that's going to create a massive leak, but it does let water get down to the decking and can start causing some problems with the wood. Then I put a little zipper here so you can kind of see how these are all going up the line here, are all just loose. So that gives you the general idea. I would say, I think on the phone we said 20 years. I would say at least 20 years. It's getting pretty old and brittle. Last thing I want to talk about is the sunroom down here you ask about. Let's travel. All right, so these are the skylights. If you can see under the leaves, there's a different color shingle. So you have the gray black that you have on the majority of the roof, and then you have this brown shingle around all these skylights. The skylights themselves look relatively new. I would say probably less than 10 years old. So what I'm guessing happened is there was either existing skylights that leaked or maybe nothing. Well, the way they're framed, it looks like there was probably smaller skylights there. Um, But regardless, looks like they leaked. They pulled them out. They pulled all those shingles off, redid it, put the new skylights in, and then reshingled over it. Um, Looks like they did a good job. The flashing looks good. The skylights themselves look pretty good. I don't think you really have any issues there. You said you haven't seen leaks, so I think that's pretty good. You know, when the time comes for a re-roof, I think you could probably definitely keep those shingles. We would just ice and water around them, a product that we didn't use in this area 10 years ago, but it's a non-permeable membrane, so we would just put ice and water around all those skylights to make sure that they're extra well sealed in, so they don't give you any problems in the future. Same thing we do for chimneys and stuff like that now, inside walls. Basically, anywhere you have something that terminates onto something else, you put that membrane so that way it keeps the water out. But this is Derek from Roof It Forward. I will get down and we can talk later.